Welcome to Liverpool 12th Man Show. I'm the Liverpool 12th Man, and I am going to be going into the Europa League preview today. Today, we're going to get into some of the things such as basically the team setup that we have, what we're going to probably end up facing, and a lot of what some of the people actually said. It's kind of funny. I never thought I'd be watching LASK. Okay, I never thought I'd be watching the last games, but I watched a couple of their league games. I watched some of their Europa games last year, and yeah, very very interesting. Um, but yeah, but it's cool. I mean, considering LASK is a team that is a team in the league that had Jesse March, lead the team to Cup glory. Uh, yeah, it's very very interesting of a team to say the least. But let's just get right into it. Hello to everyone in the chat. Thank you for showing up and showing some love. As always, John Conway, big up brother, definitely. To Baz, my brother, definitely big up, big up. And also, Marion, thank you very much for blessing us with your presence. Always a pleasure to see you. And anyone else in the chat that is out there, also big up to you as well. And welcome. So let's just, like I said, get right into it. I'm going to bring up our Europa League, and what we're going to do is we're going to get into it. I know some of us might be watching. Some of us might be watching the Bayern Munich. The Bayern Munich Manchester United game is going to be on today, and then that's Champions League, obviously. But and then who's playing right now? Real Madrid, I think, is playing right, or not? I think, but I know because I was just watching it. I have it on in the background. So yeah, Real Madrid is playing a stunner of a match right now against Union Berlin 0-0. All right, so let's add this to the stage. Europa League is looking like this. Our Europa League squad. Oh, big up, Ryan. How you doing, brother? How you doing? Our Europa League squad is looking like this. Looking at Allison, Kelleher, Yadros, Gomez, Van Dijk, Konate, Simicast, Robbo, Matip, Trent, Endo, Thiago, Dom, Mac, Jones, Gravenberch, Clark, Diaz, Nunez, Salah, Hakpo, Hatta, and Duk. Now that's just that's like what they call Squad A, I guess you call it. That's what they're calling Squad A. And what I mean by that is it's like their list A, their list A. And again, that's just like the primary list that you're going to see. The names have been named to list B are Pitaluga, our young backup of goaltender, Kwanzaa, Bradley, Bashetic, and Elliott. I have a little tongue-tied situation with my pronunciation today, but yeah, those five names are names that are on list B that can be also included. They're like backups. They're also names that can be substituted in and out of the squad, depending on injuries or availability of other players. So that's very interesting that Bashetic was on list B. It's very interesting that Elliott was on list B, considering I think both of them will be, be heavily utilized this year. Because how it goes is there's a loophole that you can still feature possibly if there's a long-term injury, but the deadline passed for clubs to provide the squad list for UEFA. So with that, we have our set number. We have a maximum of 25 players, obviously on the A list. A minimum of 8 of those spots must be allocated to locally trained players, and a maximum of 4 can be association trained. Teams can also register an unlimited number of players on their B list, which compromises. Teams can also register an unlimited number of players on their B list, which compromises of players born on after January 1st, 2002. So that means like if you're under a certain age, you can be put on there as long as you spent at least 2 years with the club. It's pretty kind of crazy how many like loopholes and little things that they have all put together into it. It's pretty interesting. All right, so this is the lineup. This is where I want to talk about. Share this with you guys. This is the lineup that I was kind of going with, loosely deciding or loosely thinking that this could be the lineup. And there's some things that Klopp could do, which is very, very interesting. And that is, Klopp could easily start the lineup that I have on here. Now, I know people might have other players involved and everything else. I know some of us might say, okay, for instance, Van Dijk, we shouldn't see him, or we might not see who else? We might not see Nunez start. At least we might see him play, but we might not see start. And who else? And then possibly even Doak. We might see maybe Elliott start in that role or something along those lines. And that's a big question. It's a big question mark. I think, and this is like kind of a little, I guess, marker that I use when it goes to picking the lineups. I believe that Klopp has a philosophy I somewhat keep as well. I hold the philosophy as well, and that is, you will always have a captain, one of your leadership group on the field. You'll always have one of your leadership group on the field. With that said, our leadership group obviously is Salah, Ali, obviously Van Dijk, and Trent, and Robbo's our fifth. Okay, that's the five guys that we have in our leadership. I know Gomez is loosely in that group. He's like on the fringe of that group, but he's not officially in the leadership group. I think that you have to have one of that group on the field at all times, or at least on the field to start. That's just my personal belief. I think that I say that personal belief only because if you look at every lineup that we've ever brought out, other than possibly like the rare occurrence, every lineup that we brought out has had one of those five players start. And if not, obviously Gomez will wear the captain band, but rarely have we ever seen that. And that's something that I think is unique in itself. And I think the one time we saw was the preseason. I think Gomez got a start as the captain. But other than that, can anyone else tell me different? I think that, with that said, that's the reason why I think that we will see Van Dijk, or we possibly, because we won't be seeing Trent. I don't think we'll see Robbo. Let's see. I don't think we'll see Ali. Salah, I know, depends on like his mindset. I don't want to see Salah. I don't know if you guys do, but I don't. At least for this match, I would, considering that we have this match on Thursday and then another match on Sunday, I don't want to see that happen. So I think Van Dijk plays simply under the pretense that he hasn't played for the last couple of games just to get some match fitness. I'm not seeing him get a full 90. I think he'll get subbed off, and most likely get subbed off and hand the captain band to Gomez. But yeah, I think VVD needs some minutes. Oh, Brian just said, great mics. That is the internet genius, Brian. Brian is the internet genius. So I guess great minds do think alike, and I think he needs them. I think VV needs the minutes. I think he could use them, and I think we'll see him this weekend lead the team out. Tell me if you think if you think different. I would love to hear your opinion on that. But again, this is the lineup I have. I think that I would love to see. Obviously, I'm the Endo support, a big Endo supporter, and he's my Nippon brother. So I would like to see Endo start in the DM role. I'm giving a shout to Bišetic. I'd like to see him. We could see something. I'm not saying that we could, that this will definitely happen, but I think that if we did this will be a very interesting lineup right here. If we have Bišetic and we had Endo, and we had Gravenberch play here. So basically, we could utilize because I think that Gomez inverted. I think the Gomez inverted project or experiment has pretty much been put to bed. I don't think we'll see that. I know we saw Simicast try to do the inverted during preseason. I remember when I brought up Robbo doing it to the chat, everyone was like quickly giving me the thumbs down. No on him playing in the inverted role. But Simicast, I know attempted to do the inverted role as well. I don't really think we'll see that, but I could definitely see, I wouldn't mind seeing, put it that way. I wouldn't mind seeing us doing a pivot with Bišetic and Endo as the pivot. That way, Bišetic could gravitate up. But there is another alternative to this lineup that I have, okay? Because I'm really looking forward to seeing Doak play this weekend. I think he definitely deserves it. Obviously, Kwanzaa would be a great start. I think this might be an opportunity for Kwanzaa to start primarily because on Sunday you'll have Van Dijk being able to play, Konate being able to play, Matip being able to play. So Sunday our center backs aren't going to necessarily be a concern as to who should play. But I think Kwanzaa should play in this role. Now, this is what I was going to say could be an alternative, and I have the lineup for LASK introduced into this too. Okay, so I know this is hopefully this is big enough for you, but I have this is basically the lineup. Now, what I have here is I'll point it out because I think it is a little small. Let me see if I can even bring it up. Let me get a little bit bigger. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so I'm looking at this possibly in another alternative to the lineup. It's something I was playing with last night. So Simicast again on the left, VVD, and Matip possibly starting. I really do think Kwanzaa will start. I really do think Kwanzaa could start. I don't think Matip would, because I just think that VVD, that way you could possibly have a sub. But let's just put Kwanzaa in because I'm feeling Kwanzaa a little bit more than I'm feeling Matip. So yeah, I think you can see VVD, Kwanzaa, and Gomez being that back line. Let's see. And I'm gonna bring up your comments in 1 second. I see guys giving your opinions. Jones, I would like to see this. Now, this is the line. This is the midfield I would like to see also, possibly. If we don't start Bišetic, okay, this hypothetical, we don't start Bišetic and we don't start Gravenberch in the right mid. I would like to see Jones and Elliott get the start. I think Jones and Elliott have a connection. I think they have that bromance rocking and rolling. I think that they have a definite energy and a definite unison when they're on the pitch together. They're obviously really good buddies. Obviously it helps when you're in the same age group. So you tend to gravitate to someone that is your peer as in age, and I think this would be a good lineup too. And that's the scary thing about it. I could see possibly Hackbo. How about Hackbo playing on that left? On that left wing. The left wing is going to be an interesting position for us this weekend. I'm very interested to see who plays on the left wing, because Diaz is not playing or should not start Europa, despite the fact that he's our best left wing. He's solidified, in my opinion, his position as being our starter at the left wing. I don't think that he should start on Thursday, simply because I want to see him start Sunday. That's a simple reason. And despite the fact that I do want to see Nunez start Sunday, I get that. You have to have someone start as the 9. I would love to see Nunez be able to really get a jump start on his mentality, and everything by doing that. Nice. Face of Flowers. How you doing, brother? Yeah, I see. So I'll pull up some of these comments as well. So yeah, so I gave the shout outs. Big up to John. Big up to John Conway. He's saying big up to Baz. Obviously, but he also saying big up to me. Marion was saying big up always. And Baz was showing love for sure to the chat. And let's see. And Brian showing love for sure. Brian liked the original first 11. How do you like this 11, Brian? Is this one even better than the first one? Because the first 11 was what I think they will play, but this is possibly an alternative, and I think a really, really viable alternative to that starting 11 that I showed earlier. Let's see. Brian saying maybe Jones if Bajcetic isn't fully match fit yet. I agree. I think Bajcetic is match fit because he's been in so many lineups as an option. He's got to be on the bench. One thing to be in the stands to show up in the game, and but it's another thing to be on the bench. And Bajcetic's been an option on the bench for a couple of times. Again, Brian agrees with me on VVD needing minutes. Vase of Flowers saying VVD first half with Quanish, then sub VVD for Kanate because Kanate needs minutes also. I could see that too. I like how Vase of Flowers thinks. Very, 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 very poignant comment there. Brian, or is it the inner fan? Big up. Basic Flowers is saying many of our squad need minutes, so I'll expect the subs to be all done by 65-70. I agree. Usually that's when you'll see the minutes. There's a range when it comes to subbing, because it's funny. Like often I'll make a prediction. I'm like, oh, we're going to sub at the 64th minute or the 76th or 74th minute or 75th minute, and I'll put out my prediction. And it ended up being most times I get them right. And that lucky number of seeing when a sub is going to be placed on is normally at the 65th minute or the 75th minute. You tend to see that be the sweet spot when it comes to bringing in your subs. The sub for McAllister this weekend or this past game against Wolves was very unique in that it was because you'll see obviously that there's an injury, but I think it was because McAllister was just lagging and he needed to have a sub. Again, Vase of Flowers showing great minds think alike. Start Hackbo on the left wing with Nunez as the center forward. That's what I have here. Let's see. And then Brian is saying that Jones, Elliott, and Endo is more likely, I feel. I think so too. That's why I kind of gravitate to. Don't know why Gravenberch is wide right though. Okay, so this is why I put Gravenberch on the wide right. The only reason why I put him on the wide right is because I'm not saying you're going to see him as a right wing. I know it would kind of make it off balance. The question is then, who do we put in as a right wing? We did see this weekend Gravenberch come in for Salah and play up front, play in Salah's role of what he was doing. I get it. It was a 4-2-4 somewhat, or a 4-2-2, or whatever it was, whatever you want to call it. And or 4-2, was it 4-2-2-2? So yeah, I know that we did see that happen. But who do we put on that right wing? I guess if anything, maybe if we don't start Gravenberch, because I think Gravenberch will see time. If he doesn't start, I think obviously we start Doak, and we just stick with this lineup, which is Hackbo, Nunez, Doak in the front line, Jones, Endo, Elliott in the midfield, Simicast, VVD, Kwanzaa. I keep saying Kwanzaa for some reason. Kwanzaa. I just gotta say Happy Kwanzaa for now on, because that'll help me make sure I don't have a brain hem up on this name. Jarrell Kwanzaa. So yeah, Happy Kwanzaa and Gomez, and then obviously have Kelleher at the keeper. Let's see. Bichetic, Endo, Gravenberch, and Elliott all need game time. I agree with that. I think that's why we'll definitely see those players play. Jones has started so may come on as a sub tomorrow. I agree with that too. That could be a possibility. But I like that Jones-Elliott idea. Personally, I like that Jones-Elliott idea. I think that could be a good matchup on the field. Brian saying Doak or Salah. He's saying I wouldn't be surprised if Mo starts. I wouldn't be surprised because Mo likes to start almost every game, any game and every game. I get that. I just want Mo to kind of just be. I want him to be not only hungry, I want him to be fully rested for all our Prem games. He's got to be fully fit, fully dialed in. Maybe not starting, against Europa gives him a little bit extra incentive to get the motor running when it comes to our match on Sunday. It's no slight to see Doak start. I mean, this is Europa. It's not Champions League. So yeah, our opponents, LASK, all respect due to our opponents, LASK. LASK, I've been watching, is a decent team. They're not a pushover. Right now, I know that they're third in their league. And they've played, I believe, I want to say 7, I think they played 7 or 9 games. So they're pretty well into their season as well too. And I've watched a few games. I haven't watched all 9 or 7 or 9, whatever it was. But I watched a few games, like I said earlier. And the players, I have some players highlighted somewhat here. These are 2 players that I saw really show something. Their captain is someone that I definitely want to highlight and say, keep an eye out for this guy. Zul, I think his name is, or Zulj. He's their captain. They play it's a interesting shape because they play a 3-4-1-2, if anything. And it's a unique shape that they play with their line. I think that it's going to be interesting to see how they come out. I know this is the formation that they do play. This is the formation they played in their last game, at least. And also, this is the formation that they tend to play. But if you're going to give me a back three of the back three that I saw them have, okay, trust me, I'm looking for a high-scoring game on our part, okay? And that's all due respect to LASK, but I don't think that their back line was not aggressive, or not something that I'm scared of saying that they should be able to shut us down. With that said, I don't want to ever jinx it, so I'll knock on wood here. But yeah, I think that you're looking at some real, you're really looking at some interesting degree of difficulty for LASK to be able to hold Nunez or even Hackpo from scoring, and Doak especially. And to the betting books, you're doing us all a disservice by not putting Doak even in the list of options to bet on for scoring this weekend. A couple betting books I went to did not have Doak scoring, which I was disappointed to see. What else do we have? But yeah, so look for, so their lineup is Mustafa, Ustor. I'm gonna hope I don't do any disservice to some of these names. Zul, Jovic, Renner, Horvich, Flecker, Zeres, Andrade, Lukanender, and Lawal. I'm saying we're going to score. I think we're going to score because let me say this big time. Their goalkeeper reminds me of United's goalkeeper, and he's like a B-Tech, if not C-Tech version, okay, of Onana. What's his name? Okay, he is a B-Tech version, if best. I think all due respect to LASK again. I know I'm being a little bit disrespectful to their goalkeeper, but I think that we will have a field day when it comes to trying to score goals against this team. As long as we'll get shots off. We're going to get a couple of really good. We're going to get a lot of corner kicks, set pieces. I think that their goalkeeper is not really a great goalkeeper. Yeah, no, me saying that might inspire him. Maybe he watches this and says, "Liverpool 12th man, I'm going to show you," and shows up with a big showing, plays the game of his life. You know how goalkeepers are sometimes against us. It's most likely if we're going to be in a game, it's not because of the play of the team we're facing. It's normally the play of the goalkeeper we're facing. You know, if everyone remembers Real Madrid and circumstances like that. Goalie curse for sure. For sure, goalie curse. But yeah, no. I think we're gonna really look to be able to do it. But the reason why I brought up their captain is because their captain has a banger of a foot on him, like guys, and he looks to shoot anywhere on the pitch, and he has a nice ability to shoot from outside the box. Obviously, he's playing in a little bit more. He does play advanced. He's not a striker. I would say he's more like he plays because he does help in the midfield. He's more like a cam as a center attacking mid. If anything, maybe a 10. I guess you call him a makeshift 10 in essence. But he does tend to get into the offensive threat for them, and he has a cannon of a shot. So if they do score, I see it being possibly from some lucky ball that bounces out, and he just takes a crack at it, and somehow he gets a good contact with it and puts it in. So again, I have my eye. That's one player to keep your eye on. His number, I put their correct numbers as well on here. He's number 10. Another player, Jovic, number 18 is a player to keep your eye on. He's pretty decent of a player. But I think their captain's number 10 is a better player. Mustafa is a player to keep your eye on as well, because Mustafa is pretty pacey, has some speed to him. Not that great of a shot, but he does have some decent speed to him. So you could see him trying to bring out some havoc with some approaches on the right there. But I don't know too much about Usar. I wouldn't say too much. I've seen the games, but Usar didn't really show up in any of the games I watched. He wasn't really the name that was really significant in it. But again, that's the lineup that we're looking at. I think it'll really be interesting. And why I like our 4-3-3 setup here is that, again, you're going to see us go to a 4-2-2, a 4-2-4, a 4-2-3-1, a 4-3-3. We're going to morph out of these. We're going to have 3 in the back, 4 in the back. We're going to morph out of this. I don't think we're going to hold, excuse me, a firm back four or like a flat back four, as a lot of people think. I also think, though, Endo's presence will be noticed, it will be recognized, and it will be appreciated this weekend. Yeah, I have it as a. I see Endo. I'll just put it out there. Put it out in the universe. I see Endo scoring this weekend, and I have Endo scoring a header off of a corner kick. So I can really see this all happening. This kind of lineup happening. I could see possibly then again getting a lucky goal, if anything like that. But primarily, I see us really, really dominating them in this format. I think that Nunez will have a heyday. I think that back line is going to be difficult to hold Nunez. You'll understand why I'll call him the Invasor. I give props considering that, he is South American. I want to give him like a proper South American nickname. And I also, because I get the Captain Chaos and all the other stuff, yada, yada. But, I really want to pray. I always like playing homage to people's, people's homelands or their cultures and everything. I like to always give proper respect to them by saying, by connecting something to them or at least trying to learn something about their culture so that you can really have a connection with that player. So Nunez, the Invasor, which means raider or invader. Okay, it also means Invasor is Klopp often referenced. Klopp references Nunez as a racehorse, as a thoroughbred racehorse, and the greatest racehorse in Uruguay history. His name is Invasor. So I really like it a lot. So that's why I always say he's going to be the invader of that back line, of our opponent's back line. He's going to raid for glory. He's going to bring us gold. He's going to go back and get goals. So that's how I like to say it. I know it's a little bit too Shakespearean when it comes to some of the names. I get called a football romantic or a poet when it comes to some of the things I like to do when it comes to the game. But hey, you know what? We have a very enlightened and educated group in the chat, in the fan base. Definitely the Almighty Reds are all are patrons of the arts for sure. So this is definitely the lineup I see. What is bring back to this again? This is the lineup I see. My lineup board has a little bit different of a lineup board, but let me get into some of these comments, and then we're going to hop into also a score prediction. Again, I hate doing score predictions because I always I hate because I don't want to jinx it. But you know what? Last weekend I got the score right, which was pretty cool. And I'd like to hear what you guys think of this lineup and what you guys think of what you guys predict will happen with this Thursday night in Europa. Okay. I'll drop up some of these comments here. Let's see. All right. So Brian's saying you want to win the first game in Europa, so he could easily go pretty strong and use the subs after. I agree. I think we want to set a precedent. LASK is possibly our hardest, our most difficult opponent in the group. They are ranked as the second seed in the group. So you could see us, especially playing away and playing again the second most difficult group team in the group. You could see him put out a decent lineup, a pretty formidable lineup. And I think that the unique thing about our club is that we have so many options. I love the fact that we are a Swiss Army knife when it comes to. I like to say when we're referencing our team, this is something I want to coin or is, and I'll bring myself up on this one. Um, when referencing our team, I like to say that we are a Swiss Army knife and a lighter. Okay, and we're a Swiss Army knife in that we have so many different ways that you can see us come out onto the pitch in different variations. We change and switch and transform. We're Optimus Prime. That's another thing I've kind of tried to coin as being a term that I'm using for this team, this year's team. But we also are as in that Swiss Army knife and a lighter. Those are the two basic necessities you need if you're in the wild on some Bear Stearns. I don't want to say naked and afraid, but I mean some Bear Stearns settings. If you're out in the wilderness, those are the two essentials that you need, and and obviously, it's one of those things you can see so many different lineup variations, and not only can you see so many different lineup variations, we have igniters on our team, as in that lighter portion I'm talking about that can spark, light the spark to start the fire. We have so many options that can do that, whether it's Diaz, whether it's Nunez, whether it's Hata, whether it's Doak, whether it's Elliott, whether it's let's see who else is a big obviously Dom is an igniter, Thiago, Trent, they could all be that spark that initiates the fire, which is always very, very, very good option to have. There's a unique option I think this year. I don't think any team really has the options that we have. I think that for a club that had a team everyone was so maligned against and thinking that we were so in the dumps and our midfield was terrible, our back line, our defense is terrible, our front line is the only thing that can really be lauded after. And I think that the acquisitions we've made, the adaptations that we put players into in different roles and such has created such a dynamic team. I think one of the most dynamic teams in the Prem, and one of the most dynamic teams in Europe. And you can clip me up on saying that. Vase of Flowers agrees with you, Brian. I think Jurgen will want to get going, and he'll probably play a reasonably strong starting 11. Excuse me. We need to use the last game as a way to sharpen up for West Ham goals wise. Bang a few in and then shut up shop. I agree with that completely. That's a great mindset. And again, Vase of Flowers, I definitely think that you have some really poignant points. Definitely some good points. Everyone in the chat has some poignant points as well. I mean, that's the reason why I bring up the majority of your comments in, and actually engage in them too. And that's because unlike, you see on other channels where you have to they just handle the super chats mostly or something along those lines. And obviously I'm not at that level yet, but will be eventually at some stage. I still value what my Mighty Res Army has to offer in comments and contributions, and I definitely appreciate you guys immensely. We need the last and shop. I said that one. Last's goalie is Robbie Great News. Yeah, he is. I really think that we're going to see some goals this weekend. We're definitely scoring 3 at least. Says Brian. I agree. I have us. Wait. I'll hold off on that. I do have how many goals we're going to score. Let's see. Brian's also saying the Vase of Flowers, a hat trick for Nunez would be perfect. I agree. I want to see a Hattie for Nat. I'd like to see possibly, or even a Hattie for Nat. Maybe a goal for Hack. Not maybe, definitely a goal for Hackbo. Goal for Doak would be great. Vase of Flowers agrees with you, Brian. Dom and Matt shouldn't be used at all, really. Mo neither. I agree completely. I think that they shouldn't even be on the bench. They shouldn't even be options this weekend. I think they should be in the stands, chilling, just like, I don't know, whatever you want to, sipping on a protein shake and just chilling out, that's how I see it. Diaz second half, Tornado sub. He says Diaz, no, the Tornado sub though. Okay. And Oh, cool, cool. Thank you, Marion. I'm gonna star your score prediction because I'm gonna do my prediction and then I'll list you guys predictions and then and do it. I see yours too, Brian. Um, let's see. I think we might batter them 5 or 6. I agree completely. I definitely see that too. We've battered Leipzig and Celtic in the Champions League. Yep, and they're in their league again, and they are actually. I want to say I think each of those teams are actually ranked higher currently than LASK. Why not LASK? Salzburgers are no way better in the Austrian league. Uh, oh, my fault. I didn't mean to show you. I'll bring it back, Brian. I didn't mean to show yours. I have it starred too. That was my bad. Bear Grylls, Bear Stearns was a bank. I say Bear Stearns? Oh, my fault. If I said Bear Stearns, yeah, my fault. I got my mind on my money and my money on my mind, I guess, huh? Yeah, Bear Grylls. I don't know why I said Bear Stearns. That's funny. But yeah, Bear Grylls for sure. I've done those. You know what's fun? If you have Netflix, they have a Bear Grylls has this. There's an interactive. I don't know if you guys done it or not, but there's an interactive format that you can do where you can do what is it like? You can be Bear Grylls basically, and he puts you in the wilderness, and you got to like decide what you're going to build first and what you're going to do and everything else. I love those things. You know, I definitely love those things. I went to college was like very, very nature bound. You know, this weekend I'm actually going up north, which in Arizona, it's like night and day difference from where I live in, outside of Phoenix. So, let's see. Yeah, they're third in Austria right now. Yeah, they are. They are. All right. So, what do you guys? What are your score predictions? I have Brian's. I have Marion's. I know that. I'll show you some of the score predictions that we have. Score predictions. Brian has it being 4-1 with a win to us. Agreed. Marion has it being 3-0 with us winning. Okay, cool. Big up, Jake Kismet in the house. Appreciate you showing up and showing some love. No one can ever be late to the party for sure. What else? What do we see here? I'm looking at the score. I'm looking at either. I had 3 scores in my head that I was going through that I was saying, which one am I going to settle on? I finally settled on 5-1. I settled on 5-1 being the score that we're going to get. Again, I have Endo scoring on a header off of either a set piece or off a corner kick. I also have Nunez scoring. I have who else did I have scoring? And I have Nunez and I have Nunez and Endo definitely scoring, and I had Hackbo scoring. I know Endo scoring is probably the very, very unlikely in a lot of people's mind, or people probably think that's very unlikely. But you know what? I happen to think that one unique thing about Endo is that because he's not tall and because a lot of people don't necessarily see him or would normally naturally, if you're going to match him up with someone, you wouldn't match him up with someone that is going to be one of their bigger guys. You know, their bigger guys are probably most likely going to be matched up with Hackbo and Nunez, if not trying to double them up to prevent them from getting a real good attempt on there. VVD could provide a header as well. Obviously, Kwanzaa could maybe even mix it up a little bit when it comes to our corner kicks. But I think we're going to dominate on corners. I had that as something else that I put down. I think we're going to dominate with possession. I also believe that we're going to dominate the aerial duels, and that all leads to go with what I think could be our ace in the hole. Jay Kisman has it as 4-0 over LASK. Okay, cool. I have a 5-1 because I have I actually think that Zul might again get that lucky, shot or something like that ends up, giving them some not necessarily hope, but some like at least like, something for the home fans to kind of like put in their pocket and appreciate. But again, I have it being 5-1. I have us really, really getting some offensive output from our team, and I think it's gonna be a fun match. I don't know about you, but I really believe it's gonna be a fun match. I think that it will be a really, really enjoyable game, and one that I think it's going to be an enjoyable game, and I think it's going to be one that it's going to see us score a lot of goals. It's going to be one that we could utilize getting some people on that, on that high. It's one thing to score on international trips. Obviously, that doesn't always relate to you coming back to the club because albeit international and club is different in that you're most likely playing a different setup, a different formation, or a different scheme when it comes to your team. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a fun game. I think it's gonna be fun to watch these games, guys. I think we should all enjoy them because the unique thing about Europa was this, and this is something that I haven't really heard that many people, if any, really say. I said this earlier, but in a couple of different broadcasts earlier when we were doing our Europa pool, I remember when it was like 4 or 5 in the morning, and I was doing that Europa pool. Look, Europa can be our entryway into Champions League next year. I think we're obviously going to get top 4. I have us being a contender for the title this year. I actually have us winning the title because I think that it'll be a race between us. And I think there's a unique flavor with this team being an underdog, being overlooked by a lot of people outside, being under the radar by a lot of different teams, a lot of different people out there. And I enjoy that now. I'm somewhat embracing it. I'm understanding to embrace it. I always like to say, show respect on our club, show respect. Like I'm on some. We don't have Stefano in the group today, but on some Michael Corleone settings of Godfather settings. They do call me Ghost for a reason, so I am on some show some respect to our name. But I'm looking at it now to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm cool. If you don't want to give us respect, or you don't want to give us the proper respect that I believe we deserve, cool. We're gonna show up, and we're gonna batter you. We're going to absolutely bring the pain for sure. And that's something I enjoy seeing. That's why I sit there and just enjoy being able to sit back and laugh. It's always the best to be. Revenge is a course best served cold, and it's one of those things, the Machiavelli in me. Shout out to Tupac. That whole concept of like, hey, you know what? You should have never wronged us. But yeah, I think that the unique thing about what it was that about Europa is we're going to be able to see players that we normally would have never seen other than possibly early cup games. And the difference between those cup games is that they tend to have been playing championship level teams. Okay, let's not get it twisted. The teams we're playing are not superior level teams. They're not. However, they are teams that deserve respect. They are teams that could end up playing well against any team in the world, and going to their grounds is going to be, they're going to have they've got some really, really, fans that love their club, loyal fans. And that's something that we're going to have to come in and face. I'm hoping that a lot of these clubs and teams, how a lot of teams end up stepping up their game to play against the bigger competition and surprising teams with quality runs. I mean, like You can kind of see that with what was it, Union Berlin today, I guess, against Real Madrid for quite a bit of the game. I didn't get to see the very, very end. And or sometimes we can drop levels to play to our competitions. I don't see that happening this weekend, or excuse me, I don't see it happening tomorrow. I don't see that happening at all this Europa competition. And what I can see is us really, really utilizing this to get some quality minutes in a competition where you're bringing these players to get these young players to get the mindsets of what it's like to be a professional on this level, where you're not only playing in, wherever it is that takes you in England. You're also being able to go to Europe. You're also getting the feel of what it's like to have to go on an away game outside of Europe, sleeping in a hotel, or flying on your charter jet to wherever you have to go, and being placed on a stage where you're walking into someone else's arena, and as the gladiator that we are, hey, you know what, I tend to say sometimes I'm Maximus. I also will call myself Spartacus. At times we get to play that role, and I think that's what's going to happen this week. Thursday is going to be a fun match. I'm looking forward to seeing our youth play, being at Doak, being Happy Kwanzaa, being Bashetik. I'm looking to see some of our new players play. People call them fringe players. I don't call them that anymore. I think anyone could be a starting 11 on our team for the most part. I think this is something that I'm putting out there, and I'll put it out there again. I put it out there in the beginning of this season, and I'll put it out there again at this moment. And you can clip me up by saying this, so that when you do hear the things I'm saying, keep an ear out for when you hear them again. On our team, there are certain players. There's only a handful of players that you can say are sharpied in as being starters. And what I mean by that is, you can say Salah, VVD, Ali, Trent, Robbo, and I get Dom is now one of those players, or McAllister seems to be one of those players that we tend to play as someone that we tend to want to play game in, game out. But I think those 5 players will be guaranteed starters. I'm not saying Doak, or excuse me, I'm not saying Dom or McAllister aren't bona fide starters. They absolutely are. But I'm just saying the names that so I remember if you were looking to see if you made the team, okay, this is back when I was in my high school days. If you made the team, you would go and you would look to see if your name was on the list of the cuts. And then there's also sometimes the coach would put the names of the players that would be starting, and he put a list so that you could just go and look and see if your name was on the list to see if you're a starter. Some people that don't necessarily go and even check the list would be, again, Trent, Robbo, VVD, Mo. Trent, Robbo, who did I say? Trent, Robbo, VVD, Mo, and I think Diaz has definitely garnered ability to go and not have to look really at that list too when it comes to Prem games. But I would say bona fide Mo Salah, again, VVD, Trent, and Robbo are pretty much hands down going to be names. Oh, and Allison, obviously. Those names are names you're going to obviously see. Everyone else, interchangeable. And that's the great thing about, again, why I said they're the Swiss Army knife, why they're the Swiss Army knife and the lighter. Everything else is spot on with our club. And it's something I appreciate and enjoy. So, again, let me give a quick couple of shout outs here for people that are saying anything you want to say, because we're going to wrap it up pretty here. Look at this. Got a Jordy in the house. Big up. Welcome. Hopefully you're still a part of the group here. let's see, any other things? Anything else before we bounce out? Because we got like at least about 4 or 5 more minutes left in the broadcast here. Just asking, okay, what's your prediction for the Bayern versus United game? Pain. That's pain and sorrow is my prediction for the Bayern United game. It's going to be very, very interesting predicament. Bayern obviously have the man they wanted, which is Kane, obviously, and they not only have the man they wanted, but they also have, they have what they need. I know the Bayern Munich game's about to start. They're going through high fives and saying with the start of the game about to show up. So I'm gonna be ending the stream here so we can all watch Man United feel their pain. Let's see, what else do we have? Yeah, Jacob has it 4-0 Bayern. They lose 4-0. Ouch. Man, they lose 4-0. That's gonna be ugly, guys. That's gonna be really, really ugly. Yeah. They have Kane as the sole. Let me see if I can rewind that real quick. I don't know if they showed. Let me see. I'll tell you real quick the lineup that they have out there. I only saw Byron's lineup. I just saw him put Byron's lineup up. Whoops. They have Kane up front. They have Sané. They have let's see, Gnabry on the other side. They have Musiala as a shadow striker. They have Kimmich, Goretzka. They have Davies on the left, which is very interesting that they have Davies at left back, considering that Davies has stressed and emphasized he doesn't want to play left back anymore, which is why it's sad to see and sad to hear. I'm a big Davies fan, despite him being for Canada, our noisy neighbors to the north. And they have Kim, they have Upamecano, and they have Lammer. Hey, let me say this right now. Yorgi, okay, to our sporting director, please pick up the phone, call Bayern, whoever you got connected to in Bayern, and ask Delight if we can acquire Delight as our center back. I'm putting that out there. That's a nice little tasty nugget for you guys, a little exclusive that I believe is something that would be amazing to see. Yeah, Delight has fallen out of favor in Bayern Munich. He doesn't start anymore. Obviously, Kim gets the starts, and Upamecano gets the starts as well when it comes to Bayern Munich. If a BBD, you know how much you're my guy. So I'm hoping that you end up watching this broadcast. Next time you're hanging out with the national team, or if you got your cell phone next to you, you want to say hello to some of your national team players, or hey Ryan, if you got that ability too, or you got the light on speed dial, or hey Hackbo, I know that you're influential and a very spiritual person, so you've always got the character to be able to approach other players and give them a shout and tell them how great it is to be in Liverpool. Holler at the light. Holler at the light. I think that would be a great acquisition. I mean, we were talking about Gravadal and players like that. I think that would be an amazing acquisition, considering he's fallen out of favor in Bayern. And I know it would be a pricey acquisition, but again, I could also see us. I wouldn't mind seeing us being able to bring in a center back of that quality to bring some extra depth and some real assurance in our back line. But that's just my personal opinion. Anyway, let's get to watching this Bayern Munich game. Let's get to watching the pain and anguish that we all enjoy seeing Manchester United go through. I appreciate each and every one of you. Hey, you know what? As I say always, You'll Never Walk Alone is not just a song. It's not just merely an anthem. It's a statement of intent. This is a quote that was made by some great fan base, and that is by what I'm saying by is that's a quote that is significant and comes from this beautiful fan base we call the Mighty Reds. And the only way that we can bring this intention out is by subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing this. Again, share it with your dog, your cat, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your uncle, your aunt. I don't care who it is. Your coworker, your employee, your boss, whoever it is. Share it with each and every person and just say, hey, we're building a contingency here. We're building a real Mighty Reds army that is going to go out there, represent this team, represent this club, represent this fan base, represent everything that is Mighty Reds, and really do our best efforts to show that we are a unified, okay, a solidified, and I know how Redbird gets on me for using that word, a solidified and certainly an empowered group. I want to give you the weapons and the tools to be able to take on rivals, weapons and tools to take out these scrolls amongst us that spit their nonsense. Constructive criticism is welcome. However, let's keep in mind, put that respect on that name. We are Liverpool Football Club. We are Liverpool, and you'll never walk alone. I appreciate every last one of you for sure. And enjoy your day, enjoy your night, whichever it is. And I'll see you soon. I'll see you tomorrow for sure. All right. Take care, guys.